evaluators. It's somebody I've known for quite a few years. And he goes all the way back to the first Christmas that we just found out. So if you help me welcome Julie's speech evaluator today, Dan Kurkoski.
Thank you, Mr. Evaluator, or Mr. General Evaluator, and dear old Dad. And actually, thank you to Julie. You shared with us some fascinating information about your parents and what you appreciate about them. And as you're giving this speech, I realize there are a lot of things I can be thankful for that my parents have given to me, and I'll bet everyone else in this room had the same thought, that our parents are meaningful people in our lives. And it's sometimes hard to remember that, sometimes there are the stern times when you don't really like your parents, and there's the times when, oh my gosh, these are the things that I've learned from my parents. And that's exactly what the sentiment of your speech today is, Julie. This was an icebreaker speech. And as such, we get to learn a little bit about you. When you tell us about what your parents have instilled in you, that's exactly what the icebreaker is doing. We are also fortunate enough that we had time for a longer speech. And I'll get more into that in just a moment. But thank you very much for the icebreaker speech and for delivering 3 marvelous points that or things that your parents have instilled in you. One of the things I liked about your speech, Julie, was the gestures. It was particularly at the beginning. They searched high and low across the United States for a place to live. And then you also had that's me, the cutest one, I'm the baby. I love that. That's a great way to get people to smile and laugh at you. And I encourage you to continue doing that kind of gestures throughout the speech. I saw those 2 really nice ones at the beginning. Didn't see as much at the later on. So that's a suggestion for future. Another thing that I wanted to comment on is that this phrase that you meant, I don't know if it came across or you meant to have it come across this way or not, but your sentence was, there is a God bigger than me. Well, does that mean that you're also God? I get confused. So something to consider for your phrasing. One more thing I want to comment on is getting back to the timing of the speech. Of course, an icebreaker is typically 4 to 6 minutes. And for this one, we're allowing you 10 to 12. And you got done right about 10 minutes and 10 seconds, which is great. You're within that time frame that you were establishing. But I also felt that it was at times a little fast paced. The pace that you were providing seemed to go pretty quickly. And maybe that's okay because you had a lot of ground to cover, a lot of great stories to tell. And by the way, you did not lose our attention one bit with all those great stories. I didn't realize that your 10 minutes was already up until I had to double check with Kristen. I'm like, really? Was it just 10 minutes? So the suggestion that I have for you on this is take those pauses, take those breaths, and let the last comment that you get, particularly at appropriate moments where you need a point to sink in, take that little pause, that little breath, or just slow it down a little bit. And people will remember the last thing you said. Lastly, Julie, I want to comment on your use of the presentation. I found that fascinating, and I want to learn about how you did that because I didn't even have to pin you. It looked like you were sharing your screen, but your face was up on there. How do you get your face on the PowerPoint presentation? I would love to know. That was excellent. Maybe it's some new feature in Zoom that I would like to learn more about. Nonetheless, it was a great speech, great tribute to your parents, and I'm sure they will enjoy it immensely. Merry Christmas.